No one cares. The problem is, bro, is that like sponsors don't want it, companies don't want it, platforms don't want it. So at some point, you're gonna be in a corner by yourself.
Walter, I promise you I got a chair for you whenever you are ready to get into it. He's getting tired of the madness, and I've been signaling this from a couple of months ago now, but he is totally sick of having these same humdrum conversations. He wants to get into the real meat and potatoes, and he's questioning the questioner himself, Myron, as to why they continue to do these things that they do. Look,
Man, Walter is not trying to get into the meat and potatoes of any conversation. Walter is trying to get to a bag, and I completely understand him. I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm just saying I understand exactly what he's looking for. I think they have two different, from what I'm seeing, they have two different perspectives. It looks like Myron is more of a fight the power, I'm willing to die on the sword, as long as I can tell the truth, get pushed into a corner, because that is what's going to happen. If you have conversations about certain topics, you will get pushed into a corner, and that's what's happened to them. But the only issue is that means you're not going to make a lot of money, and it seems like Walter's more, let's make some money. And I understand them. You got back end, you got employees, you bringing on these girls, you're trying to have these conversations, you got production value, you want to make some money at the end of the day. I understand, especially because when they were making a lot of money, and I noticed this when they were on YouTube. Now, currently, I haven't seen them since they got kicked off of YouTube, so y'all might have to update me on some of the stuff that's been going on. I'm not sure. I see clips of them on TikTok, but once they got kicked off YouTube, I pretty much ain't heard of them. So, but I know when they were making crazy money on YouTube, I'm talking probably north of 6 figures on YouTube a month. Myron was buying real estate. Myron was wearing hoodies. Myron wasn't wearing jewelry. Fresh, on the other hand, nice cars at the parties. He was a part of the networking, so maybe that was a part of what he had to do, but I didn't see him investing as much. So he might be a little bit tighter on money nowadays, you know? So he probably to the point where he wants to make a little bit of money. I can't argue against that, but to act like he's some grandiose, he's trying to get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation, he's trying to get to a bag. I don't blame him, but to act like that's not what it is, it seems disingenuous to me.
I'm glad that not only is Fresh starting to wake up, but other people are starting to see that the nonsense that the Red Pill community has brought into his life and our lives was totally unnecessary. Like, there's a way to talk about the truth in which they once started without doing this whole spiel about, you know, Jews, Muslims, Christians. And it's honestly ridiculous. And I'm glad somebody's calling it out. And the call is actually coming from at least part of the house. It might be the basement. It might not be the attic, but at least it's coming from inside the house. But for some reason, Walter is still tethered to Myron at the hip, you know, like a baby that's in the mall connected to his mom's hip or whatever the case.
Well, it's because Myron's the talking piece. Let's just be honest here, and I'm not, this is, again, no shot at Walter, but Myron is the talking piece. I think Walter understands that. Walter was said to have done a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but you can't have the group without the lead singer, and Myron's the lead singer. So regardless of what you've been doing on the back end, if you're not the lead singer, you're disposable. So you can't really say anything about it if you're not the one that's the main talent on the show, if we're completely honest. So yeah, of course he's going to be tethered.
Maybe he can only go but so far without him, or until he gets pulled back by this invisible chain that he's got on. But every time Myron goes off the deep end, Walter is there, but he is so not present, it's ridiculous.
Everything, every issue, every ailment in society, you could tie it back to fucking feminism. Every single one. Feminism. Who pushed feminism? Gloria Steinem, etc.
That's true.
Who pushed homosexuality? See, these are the conversations they don't want you to hear. I'm not biting my tongue for no fucking niggas, Asians, Pajeets, stinky Indians, that shit. Blacks, Arabs, even Arabs, I criticize them. I'm not biting my tongue. I call it like it is. Facts are facts, regardless of who says them.
I just want to say,
yeah, look, I'm not trying to get into like that whole juice argument and the whole 109 countries, because you go into certain parts of the internet, that's all you hear about. But there's a reason why out of all of those words, he said nigs. He even said nigs. That wasn't blurred out in this video. Even the guy who made this video knows the words he has to blur out. He couldn't say the J word. He had to blur it out. But he could say nigs. So just to give a little perspective, even this guy who made this video, Owen Peasy, I believe his name is, I'll link him in the comments below and in the description, but he knows what he can and can't say, and he knows there's a reason he can and can't say those things, or there's a reason he can't say those things. So
I love all my Jew friends. I love Jews. I love everybody. And I don't hate nobody.
And all Walter can do in these situations where Myron goes off on these tirades is sit there like a dum-dum and wonder why we can't get back to the root cause of our coalition, helping actual men and their desires. So that's because Myron has never had those true intentions. The Red Pill community doesn't have those true intentions. Anybody labeling themselves with these identities doesn't have those true intentions. It's about grifting. It's about making the most money possible. And it's also about hurting people and putting out hate speech. Walter,
That's just not true. That's absolutely, it's about hurting people. I honestly think the Red Pill community had a huge influence on the current, how people view, especially feminism currently. I say the Red Pill community had a huge influence on that. Now you could say it's dying off a little bit, right? Kevin Samuels passed away, then Andrew Tate got those allegations put on him, which was completely BS according to what I know of the situation, and they're completely free of it now. Because there was no real evidence backing the situation. From what I understand of it, I know that they aren't criminally liable. But yeah, to say that the Red Pill, I think that the Red Pill talking points have just moved into the mainstream. You have Shannon Sharp talking about Red Pill talking points. You have people who you would never assume in the mainstream media talking about certain issues that we were talking about when it was taboo, talking about them now. And of course, it's going to be about money. Of course, people want to make money. Of course, people want to make the most money they can, especially when you're in an industry where you could be blacklisted by YouTube tomorrow. So yeah, it is about money to some degree, but to act like it's just about spreading hate is absolute nonsense. It's not. It was about finding balance because feminism was telling people that it was all about equality, even though the name feminism is already biased in and of itself. So it was just pointing out some of those biases in how people thought. And this channel alone, like my channel personally, has hundreds of millions of views. So to assume that out of those hundreds of millions of views, I had absolutely no influence on how some people see the world is absolutely insane. And there are other channels with hundreds of millions of more views. So to say that the Red Pill community didn't influence the current landscape, the current conversations you see on social media, Gen Z's leaning to the right now, I think a lot of that stuff had to do with the Red Pill community. So to act like it had no influence and act like it was just a bunch of, I think right now it's popular to shit on the Red Pill community because you could kind of get clicks and views from it and you can make your own money like I'm sure this guy is trying to do, which I don't knock him for, but that's what it is. But to act like the Red Pill community didn't have any influence and it was just people spreading hate for the sake of money is just nonsense. Money's a part of it, but that's everything. This guy wants to make money. CNN wants to make money. Fox News wants to make money. Trump wants to make money. Elon wants to make money. Everybody obviously wants to benefit from what they're doing. But it's also about helping people and giving people a perspective and giving people a place where they can have conversations where they can never have them. Now it's a little bit more open and people are having these conversations elsewhere, but to act like the Red Pill community didn't kind of open up that space is, disingenuous.
I kind of feel for you at this point because the guy that you've tied yourself to is literally saying stuff that is anti-you. I remember when he got mad at Drewski for doing the skit and he had put out something that said, yo, this fat loser wifed up a H04 or 305, whatever the he call whores nowadays, and then he's parading around the internet, and all I could think to myself was, wait a minute, isn't that your co-host?
No one thought he could pull her, right? So to him just doing that, make conversation happen. And look, I get it. It's not RP or like the best move in this space, but for what he's doing, bro, it gave him hella promotion and content. And listen, everyone commented on it.
But it's negative. For him, they were like roasting him for being a sucker, and they were roasting her for being a 304. Like for her, she don't mind the bad press because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Walter and Myron have gotten so far off the deep end, even from when we first found them. Their stuff is so much more different that I don't even think they will recognize themselves if you took them back to their beginning stages. Because none of this content has anything to do with male improvement.
Bro, reparations are for okay? Black people need to just stop being lazy. You're not gonna get a fucking handout, okay? We're not going to give you your fucking reparations because guess who's going to have to pay for that? The middle class is going to have to pay for it. Now, let's keep it 1,000. You just get your reparations. What you going to do with it? You'll buy a bunch of some Jordans, some fucking drugs, some weed.
They're going to buy.
It's a crazy thing to say. especially considering Myron isn't really black. Now you can say he's African American, but I'm talking about cornbread black. I'm talking about of African American culture is what I'm saying. He's technically African American, but right now he's going crazy. He's essentially saying you might as well just donate to the watermelon fund, which is insane to say, bro. Like, that's crazy.
That's some weed.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
what good, my,
You gotta buy,
my
buy
boy?
some Fendi. You gotta buy some bullshit.
Buy some guns.
You gotta buy some guns.
Rob
like, yeah. Like, you're not gonna spend the
Go
money
back-
and invest.
Go back to jail.
Majority are gonna do criminal shit.
Literally, all he does is go on the internet, rage bait, and make comments about things that have nothing to do with him. And honestly, things that he wouldn't normally care about. But just in order to keep his name circulating in the media, he puts out a tweet in order to hate on some of the things that people are doing.
Wait, do you want a real answer?
What's the correct?
Or no?
Do tell, please. If you want to, do tell. We here all day.
Hurry up, because I'm eating.
You know I'm a light of fire, right? Mm-hmm. Yo, Myron, that's that guy. What's the?
No, not do that. Because he's gonna farm it.
That's the only one I don't like. That's it.
Don't attention.
He already puts my name
You
in
get
his
a nigga
mouth.
a week.
So that's
You just get a
there.
nigga a week of content.
That's fine. You wanted me to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I feel like he has nothing but people on the internet in his community to sit around, search his name all day, and just react to the things that he says or the things that he does or people mentioning him or just any sort of content out there that'll get the clicks and views. I agree with Agent. Literally, I would not be surprised if the official Fresh and Fit YouTube account comes in the comment section of this video because they literally search out for these types of things in order to keep themselves relevant. But the only reason why they are still around to this day is because, one, I ain't gonna lie, it's a guaranteed 4 out of 10 at the worst. But two, because people bring his name up, Walter's name up, and the rest of the dumbass community up.
That's just so
No one watches female streamers or female.
They're not interesting.
Look, no one gives a about female streamers or content creators, and the reason why no one gives a is because you bimbos are stupid. You have no life experience to draw from. You're not relatable. You're not interesting. You're not funny because your entire existence was predicated on you being a female having of a. So therefore, you never had to actually develop any character or characteristics or become interesting or witty or charismatic or charming. So therefore, that is why nobody watches you guys.
Mind you, the same thing can be said about Myron in these situations. Nobody's interested in you as a person. You're not relatable. You don't give good advice. Literally, people are watching you to crash out at this point. They're watching to see the extreme things that you do, and they're watching to hate on you when you feel like it's pertinent for you to give your 2 cents on any situations. Just like when Kai got a girlfriend. Myron spent a good portion of this year hating on AMP when literally the only tie that he has with them is through Agent. But Agent so long ago put off any sort of content or interaction with Myron since the playback channel ended and stopped making videos back in early January of this year. It makes no sense why he would continue to attach his name to Agent other than he knows it's a way to get a clip off. He knows.
I will say this, and I don't know Myron's criticism of Kai and like other streamers like having girlfriends and stuff like that, but I will say this: when you are a big streamer and you're very young, like a lot of these guys are, you have to be very careful of some of these ladies having alternative motives, because once you bring them on stream, they're famous now, automatically. And if you don't think that they know that, you're insane. And once you bring them on stream, here's what happens. And this is what happened with the Travis Hunter situation. Travis Hunter brought his girlfriend into the mainstream. I thought it was completely unnecessary, but what she did was she started talking on a podcast. The only issue is, the only thing that's interesting about Travis Hunter's girlfriend is the fact that she's dating Travis Hunter. So what is she going to talk about on the podcast? Travis Hunter and their relationship. And unfortunately, she started talking too much. And in my opinion, almost, I don't know how far it's going to go, but seems to have ruined the relationship to some degree because you was talking too much. The internet didn't have to know about their business, but because the only thing she had to say that was interesting was talking about their relationship, it opened it up for the internet to just go crazy. Then all of a sudden, you had Travis Hunter's girlfriend getting exposed for being at a dude's house while they were in a relationship, being in music videos, rubbing on rappers' chests while they were in a relationship. They said Travis Hunter was sitting in the car while his girlfriend was in the party, which is absolutely insane. Why you go to the party if you ain't going to the party? That's crazy to me. Driving a woman to the party and letting her go inside while you sit out in the car is next level insane to me. But if you're happy, and we didn't have to know about your relationship till your girlfriend got online talking about the only thing that was interesting about her, and that's y'all relationship. So I do understand now. I will say, for a lot of those younger content creators, you have to be careful when you're bringing your lady friend into the public sphere, because once it's public, it's public. You could say leave our private lives or mind your own business. You made it everybody's business by talking about your relationship in public. I think that's something you should just keep under wraps. Me personally, especially if you got that level of fame. But of course, I ain't got that level of fame. So maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know about it.
He knows it's a way to farm something. He knows it's a way to get engagement.
I'm so sorry for speaking to you that way.
He got.
W press.
What you about to do, bro?
Listen, bro.
These are the people that talk about us. These are the people that make endless hit pieces on us. Losers like this is who people watch and look up to and aspire to be. This dude flew this mid chick out, gets in a fucking grocery store. She's a nobody. Like, bro, you got a bunch of followers. Have some fucking dignity. You're from the same part of the world as me. Women don't talk to us like that. Are you crazy?
That right there just shows so much of what he purports to be, but is not.
And this dude got a nerve to say, yo, this guy fresh as cat. Look, man, I know fresh is ugly, but he's not no like that.
Hey, man.
Like that's fucking crazy,
I ain't
bro.
that ugly.
This is getting to the
Why Fresh catches a stray? Fresh always catches a stray.
point where he would even lie, contradict himself, or just plain misrepresent the situations at hand. Like when an agent bought a whole car and put it on stream, he said maybe he should be showing people how to build wealth generationally, buy houses, etc., etc. But agent has a plethora of videos on multiple channels where he talks about buying houses, what that can do for the different generations. He's talked about investments before. He's talked about male improvement more than the channel dedicated to male improvement, Fresh and Fit. And hell,
That's probably just not true. And I don't got the statistics of it, but that's just not true. I remember when Fresh and Fit was on YouTube, they would have people come in, talk about money, talk about real estate almost every week. I'm not sure how many times they did it, but I know they did it quite often. They would have professionals come on, and those videos hardly ever got any views, by the way, because they never do, because hoes get more clicks. Let's just be honest. But I do remember there was a time, I'm not sure what they've done since they've been off YouTube, but I remember when they were on YouTube, they would bring guys in that were financial managers, money managers, real estate guys, credit guys that talked about improving your credit. I mean, so it's saying that Agent does more for male improvement than Myron and Fresh. I don't know. I don't have the statistics, but I do remember when they were on YouTube, they weren't even getting that many views on those videos, but they were still bringing in people for financial literacy and things like that to help men understand these concepts a little bit better. So, you know, in their defense, they definitely did bring those types of guys on and tried to help. Now, a lot of people ain't going to take on that information because they want to just see hoes get yelled at, but they tried.
all in 2024. And no, it's not some superficial things. It's the things that Myron himself even values. That's why he's calling for Agent to do it. It's just senseless. Like, they've gone away from doing what they could do, what they normally do, because it doesn't work anymore, and have become a monkey reaction channel. It's stupid as fuck. One new trick and trait that Myron has picked up this year is dumping on any and everybody who gets into a relationship. If you're famous and you show a girl on stream, then Myron is going to dump on you. Now, everybody was doing it when Travis Hunter revealed his girlfriend and all the situations and circumstances that came out, which, hey, there's advice out there. I'm not going to dissect and criticize who was right, wrong, or indifferent, because
brothers and sisters, the man who had Travis Hunter's girlfriend in the crib cooking for him when they were dating, 5-year relationship, the man who had her in the crib cooking for him released a shirt, was selling t-shirts of him holding her butt in a picture and the Heisman Trophy on the backside of the t-shirt. Disrespectful to another level. That's crazy to me.
I know I got my video off, but then when iShowSpeed, one of the people who's had the best year out of anybody in 2024, came on stream and revealed that he too had a girlfriend, Myron took this as an opportunity to dissect the content, wait for the moment in which he could make a clip out.
Holy shit, man. Drop that bitch now. Whoa, that's a little much. Any man that's calling a woman B-word is unwarranted. That's a crazy take. Why are these young streamers so fucking stupid with these women? This is blatant disrespect in front of millions. I mean, I don't know what happened in
and
the
go
clip,
as
but
hard
that's
as
what he said.
possible.
Like, no, like, it's,
I know any man that's calling women bitches, especially young women bitches. I don't refer to women as bitches or hoes. That's just not something. I might say hoes every now and then on the channel. But in my real life, I don't call women bitches or hoes. I think that's a certain type of guy already. Like you know.
It's like right there.
He gonna kiss me on camera. Keep it cute.
Now, did speed get curved here? Yeah. Was it for a bit? Most likely. Myron, stop watching this. Get back to male self-improvement and male health. And don't worry about these guys that you can get the clip off of.
Those are just
Fresh
Netflix.
is my friend. I'm a ride or die. It doesn't matter what's going on. I'm gonna stay by my friend. I have $6 million in real estate, so I can say whatever the hell I want. Yeah. Oh, you SpongeBob motherfucker. Oh, how the mediocre have fallen. The downfall of Fresh and Fit honestly needs to be studied, right? So I've been watching their downfall through Abba and Preach. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Go check them out. But the way Fresh and Fit just straight up ruined their own career on YouTube is just amazing to me, bro. It's like at the beginning, like I used to watch Fresh and Fit. Like I see the clips and I'd be like, you know what? They got some good points, right? They're making some pretty good points. But then you start to realize, like, it starts to get repetitive. Like, they're saying the same things every night,
Yeah,
right?
you go watch ESPN and tell me that shit ain't repetitive. You go watch CNN and tell me the talking points ain't repetitive. Everywhere you go, the talking points are repetitive. That's just how it works. Because you only have so many things you could talk about. And this guy's talking about the downfall of Fresh and Fit, but, I mean, they still have more. This guy's in a black beater in his house talking about Fresh and Fit. So obviously there's somewhere on your mind, right? But yeah, I do think their decision to crash out on YouTube was probably one of the worst decisions they could make financially. It depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to be the guy who's going to fight the power, you could do that, but you're probably going to be broke doing it. So he said he got some real estate and it's going to save him in the future. That's good for him, but I don't know what Walter looking like. Buying a lot of cars, buying a lot of jewelry. So, yeah, you can fight the power, but just understand that when you die on your sword and people are encouraging you to go die on your sword, they're not going to support you when you die on your sword. They're going to come watch the Poor Man's Podcast. They're going to go watch somebody else. When you're unable to make YouTube videos and monetize on YouTube and you fall into the dark corners of the internet where you start to become more and more extreme because you're in the dark corners of the internet, you're screaming into the void because you fell on your sword, just understand the people who convinced you to do it ain't going to support you. You got to understand that. You can still fight the power and find your small niche group that will support you, but most of those people who encouraging you to talk about these topics that might get your channel demonetized, they're not going to support you when it is. Trust me.
Right? It's like, y'all don't got anything else to say. Like, don't just bring on dumbass bimbos from Instagram and just like yell at them and basically lecture them every night. I'm like, okay, it was interesting the first couple of times, right? Maybe do it once a week, but like every night, y'all don't get tired of this? Like that man's blood pressure is high as hell, I bet.
Even the people that were watching the content at one point in time are now getting tired of Fresh and Fit, and they're putting new faces and places into that manosphere that they'll watch the content of. Now, ultimately, I don't think you should be watching that type of content anyway. You should go out and live your real life, but it's a good thing that they are taking at least these two bozos out of their algorithm and replacing them with people who are probably more sane than these guys. And maybe what's happening today to them will help expedite the process of getting them off the internet. Lately, they got sued by Rockstar Games, you know, the people that make GTA, for using the same imagery to promote some of their stuff. Now, I've seen a lot of people take on the whole GTA aesthetic and make artwork out of it. And usually Rockstar Games or any other, you know, video game platform doesn't take too much issue with those situations, but these guys took it straight to the heart.
A black civil rights defense fund that contacted Rockstar Games.
Yeah, what happened is that
you want to keep clowning on it? Because Myron online, he'd be doing some wild stuff about, he constantly speaks poorly about black people, calls them the N-word, monkeys, everything you can imagine. He does it every day.
Yeah.
And I always said,
I criticize African-American culture. Number one, I'm from African-American culture. So that helps, allowing me to criticize it without, you know, so much backlash. But also I criticize it from the lens that I understand that most black people are not what we're portrayed to be online or on social media or in rap music videos. I understand that by and large, that's not how black people act. And I know from people from other cultures may not understand that, because most cultures, a lot of cultures don't really mix and mingle. So a lot of the understanding of another culture you get is going to come from media. And even when I was in Africa, I was in Kenya, and I was talking to them, they said a lot of the time the only perspective they got of African-American culture was what they seen in movies and rap videos. which makes a lot of sense. So I come at it from a perspective of understanding that this is a small minority, a very loud minority, but definitely not the majority of black people when it comes to the black community. Definitely not. And I think that helps my message get across a little bit softer because I understand that. Myron sounds like he coming from the perspective of this is how black people are. We just gonna go buy Jordans and tennis shoes and watermelon. That's a crazy take, brother.
You keep poking the bear, you're gonna hit the wrong hornet's nest eventually. That's just inevitable.
You pissed off X amount of people, and then that's what happened. That person, that Arthur Watkins, basically he warned Myron a couple of times, saying that, hey, you know what? I don't like the way you talk about us. I don't like the way you talk about women, black women, especially black men. I don't like the way you do all this stuff. But there's not so much I could do about that. But what I can do, I will do.
One thing I will say that's come out of this last 4 years stretch of content, of social zeitgeist, things that are going on in the ethos, is that a lot of the grifters have got out of here. And because the red pill community was predominantly made of grifters, it is amazing to see that a lot of them are now having to shift their content. And the only ones left is this nagging tooth that is Fresh and Fit. Think about it. Wes Watson's not important anymore. Just Pearly Things has all but evaporated off Earth. Sneeko has did a whole 180 pivot and is going back to school even. The only major players that are left is Fresh and Fit. Kevin Samuels is even in the ground. So as soon as Fresh and Fit get off the platform, I think we'll be totally rid of the toxic red pill community, which is impressive because how big and influential they were is so crazy for them to only have that 4-year stretch. Round of applause to everybody for getting smarter. I'm so proud of you guys.
Oh, well, that's into the video. But yeah, when he's talking about the death, let me go back to that video to get the title of it. Let me try to get back to it. Go back. Fresh and Fit's breakup is coming sooner than you think. OMEZ. I'll link it in the description in the pin comments down below. But yeah, at the end when he's talking about the death of the red pill, yeah, that's kind of how the internet works. It usually moves in cycles. Like there was a time in the internet where pranks was a big thing that kind of fell by the wayside. Like this pop the balloon thing's come up and it's been popular, but that's probably going to fall by the wayside. So that's just how content works by and large. And the best content creators are able to adapt. So there's no issue there. And I also think a lot of the red pill, I think the red pill accomplished the goal that it was supposed to accomplish. And that was just moving the conversation into the mainstream. And I think it's already done that. So I think it's accomplished the goal it was trying to accomplish. But also as far as Fresh and Fit, I think that they have two different perspectives. Myron wants to fight the power because he has a lot of money reserves and he can do that. Walter's looking at it from a business perspective and saying, look, the numbers ain't adding up, and that makes sense to me too. But right now, since they're off of YouTube and they've been kind of blacklisted, they've been demonetized, everybody's going to throw rocks at them because they can't really defend themselves. And if they do defend themselves, it's going to be on Twitter. I don't even know if they have a Twitter, really. I don't know if that's even a thing. I'm sure they're not on TikTok. I'm sure they got banned on TikTok if they got banned on YouTube. So I'm not sure where they're live streaming or what they're doing. But yeah, now that they're kind of being held down, they don't have a voice anymore. People are just kind of coming after them unwarranted, and it's kind of easy content. So I know, like, I've been preached. Every time I click their channel, every time I see them pop up on my feed, it's like a video about the demise of Fresh and Fit or something about that. So yeah, that's just what comes with the territory. You want to go die on your sword and say what you want to say, you get pushed to the dark corner. That's how it works. The guy who made this video even knows that because there are certain words that he blocked out. And he did it for a reason. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or a L and give me the HBO special. That's a Help Brother Out special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.